as we join our audience here. And because Drew ain't on this week, I had to bring two people on to replace him. So this is Monday Night Means, and as usual, I am the Means in Monday Night Means, Kyle Means, and my compadres here are indeed two of the founders of We Are Regal Radio, Regal Radio, War Media, however you want to call it. They help bring it to light, and these are Joe Tanksley and the one and only Demonze Spruiel. Glad to have you both on, chopping it up with me once again.
Yep.
Yeah. Joe, me and Joe had some fun yesterday at the Bears game. It was his first time going to the Bears game in an official capacity as a member of the media. He still was he was almost a little bit too loud in the press box, but he was cool. But
I talked to Joe and I was like, man, how was the press conference? He said, it was a little rowdy. Oh, so now I figure out it was you making a rowdy, huh, Joe?
The conference, he was laid back in the conference, but during the game in the box, he was like, oh, he's like, oh, how you do that? He's like, oh man, but the thing is, everybody feels that way in the Bears press box. It's just we express it to various levels. At some plays and some events happen during the game where you just can't hold yourself. Like when that fourth down, that third down and fourth down late in the first half when Nagy just looked like Forrest Gump or whatever out there, and that just blew everybody, of course. But I don't know. I'm not gonna do much in the way of details from yesterday. Me and Joe provided pre and post game podcast from the stadium yesterday. If you want to listen to those, they're available right now on WARR on Anchor, on all our major podcast platforms, so you can listen to those. I don't know, D. I don't know if you had anything in particular that you wanted to draw from yesterday, but there's a couple things from today that I want to get into. But I'll let you go off first.
Oh, thank you so much for letting me vent right quick. Oh man, it's listen, man. I have been calling, and you never want to, say a guy should not be able to provide for his family and bring home a check, right? Nobody wants to say that about any man.
You're not here.
I'm not here, huh? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know nobody do that to me. I don't want nobody, I don't want to do that to nobody. But I've been calling for this man, Matt Nagy, and his employment with our beloved Chicago Bears for quite a while. From going down to Chicagoland Sports Studio to 670 The Score, when I'm hosting the Dean Davis show with Kenneth Davis. As Ken like to say, don't like to cut it that guy's jib, and I haven't liked that dude for a minute. And
yeah, you were kind of early on that.
Yeah, man, it was like it just wasn't sitting right with me, man. It's kind of like he was. It was. I think Matt Nagy's at least the first couple of seasons, 3 seasons. His first 3 seasons, they went to the playoffs, right? He got Coach of the Year like his first.
Two of the first
three. Okay, 2 of the first 3, right? But they went last year though, too, right? And they got smoked, right? All right, so
yeah.
But it all was kind of like predicated on the still having a defense and doing a little smoke and mirrors with Trubisky the first year. But after a while, it's kind of like, okay, man, y'all making about the skin of y'all teeth. Now, check this out too. When Ken and I first doing our first show was Football Island, this is when the Giants was winning their championships. And it was like, how the hell are the Giants doing this? Like, they just barely making it, and they go on these crazy runs and they win Super Bowl. So it's the NFL, right? As long as you get into the dance, as I always say, hey, man, you never know what happened. But it just never sat right with me. It never sat right with me with him being the leader of the guys. Now, he can have a dude run through a wall for you and have the, had a team not fall down. Now, Kyle, you probably get into this in a minute. But I always say too, I can find a cat.
That's a good
Yeah,
transition.
that's where you're going. I can find a cat on 79th and Halter that can get you run through a wall, man, to go ahead and big you up. I can find a cat. I can find your cat on a 9 that can do that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody from Chicago don't know that 79th Street 9.
You can find a cat make you do a lot of things you don't need to be doing on the 9.
Exactly. That you don't need to be doing, right? You know what I'm saying? You can find a lot of cats that have you made ready to go through a wall. You know what I'm saying? But as far as leading a football team, it was never there. And these past 2 games with the Steelers, and now they just lost to the Ravens. They were like the little things, but sometimes, man, it's just that one more straw on that stat that can make it break. And I think people are starting to see that now. It's like the mentals now from your team isn't there. Where are your mentals at? And that's what's really exploiting them right now. So I'm not shocked.
They pretty much not at all. They pretty much lost both games in the exact same way. There was different. They got to the ends were the exact same. They came down, had good 2-minute warning possessions on offense. They scored, took the lead, and then the defense gave the ball right back up, and gave up the game. And there's a lot of things you can read into that. You can read to just the overall game planning, the lack of adjustments, the lack of defensive wherewithal, the lack of depth in the defense, because they have some guys who have been out. Of course, Khalil Mack has been out. Hicks has been out. Danny Trevathan, others, but when even though you've had good performances from people like from Quinn and who else am I missing? Well, you had Gibson had the interception yesterday. Joe, what's the outside linebacker? The young guy.
Roquan Smith, you mean the inside linebacker?
Roquan, of course. But Roquan. It's one more guy. Yeah, one more guy I'm thinking about. Travis. So
Travis Gibson.
Travis Gibson, yeah. So you've had some good performances, but they've been spotty, and that defensive backfield is one of those spots again where Ryan Pace just left the cupboard bare, and we saw in this game where there was so many broken coverages and everything. And the most important play of the game, you leave a known speedster like Sammy Watkins wide open in your territory, and you let them to the red zone, and they're able to punch it in for the winning score right after that. So the Bears are just a faulty team all around, and they're faulty because of their leadership. They're faulty because of their management. And I keep thinking about it, and I heard this cited on Twitter just before I came on here. The Bears looking like the Bulls looked the winners. That 2020 winner. We hosted the All-Star game, and all the eyes of basketball world were on Chicago. And what did the fans do when that happened? They got it behind the ESPN studio shows at Navy Pier and chanted "Fire Guard Packs" as loud as they could, and made sure that everybody who watched ESPN and TNT heard that. At United Center too, with Inside the NBA, they shouted that stuff and made sure that the Bulls were as embarrassed as possible, even on this grand weekend where they were hosting and they were the bells of the ball. They knew that they weren't doing the right thing by their fans in that moment. Yesterday was CBS with their top broadcasters there, Tony Romo and Jim Nantz. They came for this. Me and Joe were making fun. They came for this nice little showcase event with Justin Fields and two young quarterbacks, Justin Fields and Lamar Jackson, and they got Tyler Huntley and the Red Rifle, throwing out some bullets. Yeah. But at the end of that game, the Bears fans en masse shouted out "Fire Matt Nagy," and everybody, there was no mistaking it on that CBS broadcast. There's no mistaking it in the press box. There's no mistaking it in the McCaskey's box. They heard that, and they have to respond to that. They for whatever reason, because they're a mom and pop operation. There's no change in the way that they act. They're going to hold it off until January, but they know today that they have to fire this dude. If they didn't know it before yesterday, like you say, Demonze, they should have been known it. But if they ain't know it any time before 3:00 Sunday, they know it now, and they're going to have to act on it. And to that degree, there's a tweet that came out today by a gentleman named was it Jordan Schultz Report on Twitter. Mm-hmm. He's a guy with various podcasts with professional athletes, including Allen Robinson of the Bears. And I'm guessing that he got this information straight from A-Rob on some level. But he tweets that the Bears locker room has officially turned on Nagy. And this is something that, I have given them credit for, various others have given them credit for throughout the past years, even at his worst moments, I should say, with these losing streaks and everything and the subpar play. Nagy has managed, and D made mention of it, to keep the guys working for him, to motivate them in some way and keep the chemistry of this team together. But there's a breaking point with all that. You can't lose 5 or 6 games at a row every year and expect your guys to keep wanting to run through that wall for you. So, as Schultz puts it, overwhelming number of Bears players want Matt Nagy gone, league sources say. Again, it's probably A-Rob, but he lost some of the locker room last season, but now it's gone, one source adds. One key holdup, no head coach in the 101 year. Of course, we know this franchise history has never been let go during the season. So again, it's not going to happen this week. Definitely not with 2.5 days of preparation left for the Lions, and it's probably not going. I can't imagine it happening after Thursday unless even if something really embarrassing happens. But it's gonna happen, and again, as we talk about Thursday. Another tweet I want to mention right quick, Ian Rappaport of NFL.com saying that Dalton is expected to start Thursday. That's something you could pretty much read from Sunday. Feels his ribs are injured. He's likely not going to be 100% for Thursday. And D, I know you endorsed not bringing him back. And I think I agree with you on this one, not bringing him back for the rest of the year.
Yeah, you know what? And after the game, I hit up Joe to try to see if y'all two were still together. Because Joe called me. I was I think I was getting ready. He's like, "Hey, what's your cousin number?" I'm like, "What the hell is going on here?" Like, call Kyle. I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like, what the hell are you two up to?
Yeah, Joe. Yeah,
that's why I found out y'all was covering the game. Like, oh, okay, all right, I understand what you're saying. But no, I want to kick it over to Joe because I talked to Joe about this. And I was like, man, going back to my the tweet I sent out, Kyle, and I was like, I wouldn't play Fields for the rest of the year. But as Joe has done so many years over knowing this brother, you know what I'm saying? I love this brother, and he's been able to kind of calm me down sometimes or something. I'll be stepping out there sometimes. Hold on, D. Joe, if out of all of us,
right. That's what I'm about to say. Let that be known. If you want to listen to any of us on football, you listen to Joe.
Yeah,
me and D more or less just talk trash. But
that's the family bond. That's the blood right there. We be going on. But Joe, like, hold on, y'all, hold on. So no, right. Because Joe basically told me like, hey, he still need to play. So Joe, what do you think about that?
Well, I think I definitely don't think that they need to rush him back. But once he gets 100%, whether it's 2 or 3 weeks from now, there's value in having Justin Fields play the remainder of the season. Getting to understand the different looks from the defenses and stuff. Those are valuable reps that he can take and put in his vault and grow from. And we've watched him from the Cleveland game, and we've seen how he grows, and how he has grown, and he's not he's one of those players that doesn't make the same mistake twice, you know, and so you know he kind of he learns in games and makes adjustments in games very well, and that's a very good quality of his that I picked up on in just this short amount of time of him playing in this his young career. So there's definitely value in having him play and learn, and and being able to understand the way defenses are going to attack him, the things that they want to take away from him specifically. Now the scheme is the scheme. The scheme sucks, but Justin Fields is a player that you do need to game plan for because of his running ability. And his ability to throw against the grain and throw across his body. And those are things that defenses are trying to take away from him. So him getting experience with defenses attacking him and attacking his weaknesses are going to make him better and give him something to work on. So I think this is the part of the season where we know that, the Bears are not a playoff team. Mac is gone. Hicks is hurt. It's a foregone conclusion that the head coach is going to be fired. But it's all about Justin Fields now. The future of the Bears lies with Justin Fields, and whatever the experience they can get him, while keeping him healthy. Like I said before, if he's 100%, he needs to go. But they need to start doing things to help him grow and get better.
Now, real quick, hold on, because okay. No, I just want to say one thing. So, Joe, shout out to Ken and Joe, because they both reign and seeing sometime when it comes to football, right? But this is my counter argument to Joe. I said this at the beginning of the season. I don't want Matt Nagy nowhere near. That's my only thing. Is because I would feel more confident, and Joe, we talked about this on the phone. I would feel more confident with Justin Fields playing the remainder of the season if I knew somebody else was manning the ship. I don't trust Matt Nagy to boil water.
See,
that's right.
And here's the thing.
I don't trust him. That's the only thing.
And that's
right. And Joe, let me add on that right quick. There's a protectiveness that we have as Bears fans and observers and fans. Of course, I'm a fan, of course, but we want to be protective of Fields because we know that the future does lie with him and that he's going to be here next year, and this so-called coach ain't going to be here next year. So there's a feeling of wanting to break away clearly from. They'll do the job, like I said, it's not going to happen because of the McCaskey's edict or whatever. But there's a feeling that you want that job to be done right now, so that this kid doesn't have to spend one more down, one more game, one more snap under that scheme, under that line that was built in front of him, with those mostly faulty playmakers that has been placed around him. The frustration can be mostly put to the side, and that he doesn't necessarily have to be put. We don't want to clutch our pearls in regards to him being hurt, because it's football. You get hurt, but getting hurt to an extent where he has to miss extensive time going forward. Again, he hurts his ribs because of whatever accumulation of punishment he had to take in this game or in the games leading up to it. We don't want to see that repeat issue. And, the odds of that being a repeat issue, they are expounded the more he has to play for Matt Nagy. But I definitely get what you're saying, Joe. He has to learn as by doing and by being out there.
But see, Joe is making football common sense. Joe is smart. Joe has played the game.
Yeah.
The issue is the dude who's running the team right now makes no football sense and is not good at his job.
It's crazy because he played the game too.
But that's the problem.
Here's the thing. I like the both of you. I am also a Bears fan, and I get the sense from listening to Justin Fields, how he conducts himself in an interview in interviews, the way he plays the game, that he may have, maybe Nagy proof in a way that Mitch wasn't. And that comes from pedigree. You know what I'm saying? He knows he can do this. You know what I'm saying? Sure. And so I wouldn't worry about that to a degree. Because I think more so than Mitch, like I said before, Justin Fields is Nagy proof. He just has it. He just has it.
You figure a player of his caliber would be Nagy proof, bad coach proof, and again, players of his caliber potentially have gone through these growing pains. With bad coaches, first year as starters in general, but definitely with bad coaches because they usually go to bad teams drafted up at the top of the first round. So this is just that unsure part of the process where we as fans are just we're reacting in real time, and we don't know what's going to happen yet, and we are leaning on the bad nature and historical record of the Bears. We're just it's rough, man. It's rough, but you're definitely right, Joe. It's like we have to be confident in Fields.
Yeah,
if nothing else, we have to be confident.
There's still benefit in him, playing whenever he's healthy. Understanding the speed of the game, learning the windows that you have to throw through, throw into, and that's something that he's gotten better with as the season has gone along. He's made a couple good throws, that throw in between the cover two, between the corner and the safety. That's a hard throw. Not everybody in the NFL can make that throw. It's like 5 guys that can make that throw. All righty. And some of them do it with talent and some of them do it with anticipation. Right now he's just doing it with talent, but he has to be able to work on that anticipation, understanding where guys are going to be and where to put the ball or where to fit the ball into. And that's what he's working on right now. And you only get that through playing, and you really can't get it in practice either. This stuff just comes through game experience, NFL game experience. He was at Ohio State, where they had, the best talent on the field most days, and so a lot of
people say he had better receivers in Columbus than he has in Chicago.
Well,
Chris Olave, those cats.
That could be true. It could be true, but I think there is a difference between the amount of space that that you get to throw a ball and fit the ball, than it is in college, because the guys are so much faster and they're so much bigger. They cover space faster. They study a lot more. This is their job. So those windows and opportunities to make plays are a lot smaller in the NFL, and he has to learn that. And you really can't learn that by sitting and watching.
Yeah, you're right, Joe. You're right, Joe. Put us off the ledge, man. It's just off the ledge.
Hey, but we also got to look at it like this, though, too, real quick. Just to wrap it up. Just put a button on the cover. You also got to look at it.
I want to get to the Bulls right quick.
This is the last thing. This is the last thing. I think a lot of Chicago Bears fans are looking at it like this because this is potentially, not knowing for sure, potentially a franchise quarterback. Like we've never had one. Like we've never seen it before. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at this and going to all your points, Joe. He's doing all these things. If you're a knowledgeable football fan, it's like, yo, we ain't never seen this before. Like, I don't want anything to happen to this cat because I'm a fan of the team, and I don't want anything bad to happen to this kid. I want, saying Matt Nagy's bad juju rubbing off on him. So it's like, get him away from him. Keep it, bubble wrap him. Hey, your ribs hurt. Hey, man, you know what? Let's go ahead and sit down for him. He wanted Andy Dalton to play so damn bad. Let Andy Dalton play so bad. You know what
exactly.
I'm saying?
Let Andy Dalton ribs hurt.
Exactly. Just let him play. So I think that's another part when it comes to Bears fans, because potentially this is a cat that we never seen before. He could be that dude, like you said, Joe. Go from talent to throwing that pass from talent to expectation or anticipation. I believe the word you said. So yeah. So it's that right there, and I think people see that. So but as we always, Nagy ain't going nowhere, Pace ain't going nowhere. We figured all this out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe when I'm on my vacation, my B-Day, I found out they all get fired. And I turned up even.
January, that mid-January, that'll probably be the case. But yeah, we can only hope. But last thing I'm gonna say about football is that, boy, this game has a chance. I mean, there've been some bad Lions games on Thanksgiving, but when you put the Bears into it with our issues and their issues,
well, here's the thing. I mean, Detroit
to go 0-4. But I was gonna say, yeah. Well, you were confident they were gonna win Sunday. They found a way not to win, of course.
Yeah, I thought they really could beat the Browns, and they were coming close.
Yeah,
and so. And both of these teams really,
13-10,
we like to make fun. We like to make fun of the Lions a lot, but the Bears do a lot of the same goofy stuff.
Yeah, they ain't that far from them.
But therefore the grace of God, go to Bears.
If it wasn't for 1985, we'd be in the same boat as them.
Pretty much. The thing about the Lions though is they only have one playoff win in the entire modern history. So that's a little bit worse than the Bears, but we're not too far. We're not too far, yeah. And the thing, what I was going to mention about Thursday is this Tim Boyle or whoever's going to be playing with him. You look at his numbers, and you will be marked. That I think that may be a truer instance of white privilege than Kyle Rittenhouse, because his numbers,
Lord,
there's no way. Look at his numbers. There's no way that he should be starting an NFL football game.
Oh wow!
With what he did with his numbers. I'm saying I had to go there, man. His numbers. He did literally nothing in the pro game and in college. He didn't do nothing. Like at least in college, you with guys when you come out of college, you think that okay, they're prolific in some way. They do something. To though in the case of Trubisky, they show some sort of promise, but this guy didn't do nothing, and he's starting. He's been the backup for 5 years in the league, getting a chance to start Thanksgiving Day game. Man, he's gonna be. I just don't understand. And it's maybe the game that we'll ever see on Thanksgiving. I'm gonna be running errands during the game. I'm not even gonna be because I gotta work. I actually gotta work on Thanksgiving, which I kind of appreciate. Yeah, and so I gotta be set up by 2 o'clock.
But I don't know if I'm gonna sit there.
Yeah, I mean it's not. I'll be completely surprised if that game is worth watching at all. You know, it's
but if you two do that, I drunk watch it. Because I'll be at somebody's
that would be the best way to watch it. Yeah. Me and Joe saw a young lady driving from the stadium who may have looked like she had took a couple X pills before the game or something, and that may be the only way to watch the Bears at this point, inebriated in some way. But yeah. We got our guy Dedrian Cologne on the line. He's gonna jump on in a minute to talk some wrestling. But I just wanted to go into the Bulls right quick. You know, there's not really much to say about the Bulls. You know, they're pumping along pretty good. They got the nice win yesterday against the Knicks. They're playing. They just started against the Pacers now. So the good thing about the Bulls' schedule is that they sort of get a couple games easy. Laying off, you know, after that tough stretch that they had. And, it picks up a little bit again on Saturday with Miami. But as I look at the score right now, I see the score up is 10-5 Pacers. So you got to hope the Bulls don't have too much of a letdown. But, you guys got any particular thoughts on the Bulls? You know, like I said, got out of that stretch, the West Coast trip and the game against the Knicks. With still a strong record atop the East, 12-5.
With the Bulls, I've been so far with the way that they've been playing. It's a vast improvement from the previous seasons. The addition of DeMar DeRozan was a sleeper. No one really had this idea that it would go this well for him in Chicago paired with Zach LaVine. But that being said, they tremendously miss Vucevic, and they in the front court, and they really need to get some improvement in the 4 and the 5 position in order to kind of sustain themselves and solidify the back end of the defense. Now, with that being said, with Vooch out, they've been playing a very exciting brand of basketball, the small ball, and typically, when you see a small ball, in the NBA, they lack defensively, but when they went small ball, they picked up defensively and really started locking things down. And so the addition of Caruso and Lonzo, getting in guys' face and just locking guys down has been a real help, and it's been infectious throughout the team. Zach is playing defense a lot better, and DeMar, a savvy veteran, he's doing what he knows how to do. So the team defense and that philosophy that they've been using and has worked so far, but they definitely need to get some help on the inside.
Yeah. Pretty much touch on all the major points there, Joe. You got anything, D?
Hey, like I've said before, when you did Twitter Spaces thing, I hopped on, and I feel like I brought a bad omen because of that Portland game. But my biggest concerns, I mean, they're playing great right now, and I'm very happy for the team. I think they're going to definitely go into the playoffs. We would get a 4 to 6 seed. That's where I think we'll probably land. The Bulls will probably land. But my biggest concern is, as Joe said up front, it's very, very thin up front. I like the small ball, but man, they get bullied in the paint. That's the only problem. Like, these guys are wiry, they can jump out of the gym and dunk. Man, they get somebody with a big tookish down low, and they can't do nothing with them. It's like, man, Julius Randle went off last night. The Bulls won, but man, he was like, get off me, little man.
But they did a good job in offsetting him though with some key double teams. They make the most of what they do, which is more than the last team we've been talking about. You see a team do that, Yeah,
years ago that game would have been over. It's like, man, my God, Julius Randle like the second coming of Wilt Chamberlain. He's like 6 inches short.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the way it was looking out. But now, like I said, they gotta get bigger up front, and they have to stop digging themselves into these holes. I think eventually they'll have to try to figure out, man, everything can't be a 3-pointer, everything can't be a jump shot. I love DeMar because he's found that mid-range feel, and he's killing right there. He's not hitting him as wet as he was before, but he's still there. He's still gonna give you about 30 points, which is crazy to say, right? He's still run out of base.
Yeah, he's playing way better than I think he's playing way better than even Bulls fans thought he was going to play. Exactly. There was a lot of people, of course, we rubbing in people's noses. A lot of national people's noses saying that it was a bad pickup. But
right. No, I loved it. I love the pickup. I love the pickup.
And I did too. Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
But he's playing even better than we thought he was going to play. So
exactly.
Yeah,
so I think as long as they shore up those few things, man, I think they'll go a longer way. You know what I'm saying? They have a long, hopefully have a long postseason to come. So just a few good things here and there, but man, they back. The Bulls are back.
Yeah. So Dedrian, I ain't gonna hold up too much long. I know you ain't in a rush to watch Raw anyway. So
man, Dedrian trying to watch that. I turned it off. I forgot the Bulls was on. I just can't turn this shit off.
Look. Did Vince bring the egg out yet?
Well, what is this egg now?
Did y'all see Red Notice? Did y'all see Red Notice with the Rock?
I still haven't watched it yet. No, but you saw almost half the movie during Survivor Series yesterday.
Okay, so give me one second.
Y'all know.
Okay, so Raw starts where it finished yesterday, where Vince is looking for that stupid egg. That Vince is looking for a movie prop of an egg.
But no, it's supposed to be real, isn't it? He's trying to get over that it's actually a real. It's worth $100 million and all that.
Look, I tweeted it yesterday. I made a damn video about it.
Vince
McMahon.
Oh God.
Vince McMahon the character and the person is a freaking real life version of Mr. Burns, and the WWE universe is the town of Springfield.
He about to make everything dark too. He about to take out the sun like Mr. Burns tried to do it.
Bro, think about it. In The Simpsons, when Mr. Burns, the town of Springfield didn't give Mr. Burns what he want, what did he do? He had vengeance on everybody. When Raw and SmackDown don't give Vince McMahon what he wants as far as ratings, what does he do? Give them his vengeance. He's a real life version of Mr. Burns. And Bruce Pritchard is Smithers.
It's Smithers.
Listen, that's a good comparison. Yeah.
I was gonna say, man, this the thing about Vince. How old is Vince? 70 something? Is he 80 yet? You don't think he's 80 yet? Right?
I think he has an autograph.
On the door.
Look, I think he got an autograph copy of the Bible. That's how long he's been there.
This is not a good look when you have an old man talking about where's my egg. That ain't a good look. It's kind of like, my man, you are so out of touch, or something else isn't there. That's not a good look for the character. It's not a good look for your boss. Your boss running around with this movie prop, as Dedrian said, like, look at this $100 million egg.
It is not a good look when the opposition is offering CM Punk and Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega and all these great matches and all these great events.
What made it even more like, you could use the word obscene, was that the way it started was he pulled up in his limo, he has the egg, and all these WWE superstars are clapping, and he's like, oh, it's $100 million, and everyone's like, wait a minute, how the hell are you gloating? Like, it's like tone deaf that you're gloating about this $100 million egg, and you just laid off 16 people in the last month.
Ooh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
like, how does that
laid out what, 8 to 12 people on Friday?
I didn't think about that.
Like, how do you, like, the fuck? I know I can't cuss on here, but what the fuck? Like, Jesus. Like, I'm gonna take a line. I'm gonna take a line from Jim Cornette, because he's been like ripping the WWE lately. Like, is Vince alive? Like, can somebody check on him? Like, is he aware of what he's doing? Like, you're releasing all this talent to AEW and all these other companies, and they're getting loaded. Like, what is you doing? Like, yeah, you got money, but like, eventually, God forbid, if Big E and Roman Reigns get an injury like Stone Cold and Triple H did back in the day, you're screwed. Because the depth that you did have, your competition has it. You know, you look at AEW now. Yeah. Moxley's out. You know, hopefully, you know, he's gonna recover from, you know, going to rehab and everything. Kenny Omega's getting rested up.
They got dozens of people who could step in for their top guys.
They're like 10 to 12 deep, and that's not the count. Possibly Jonathan Gresham, Shane Strickland, aka Swerve Scott, Keith Lee,
who they just let go,
Kevin Owens, Kyle O'Reilly in the next week or so. So they just, it's like, what the hell are you doing? But man, that pay-per-view yesterday, man, the reception from the people that were in the arena, they were just like, it was so boring. They started doing the wave, and it was in Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah, Brooklyn and it was a big crowd, but they didn't get much to really be excited about with that show yesterday. It was a dumb show. It was a dumb format. You got all the champions going against each other, and there's no championships on the line. It's just the stupid bragging rights for the show.
I'm still trying to wrap my mind of Vince with he had the egg from the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's trying to say that the egg it's an actual artifact that is worth $100 million. That, like, the egg in the movie is supposed to be worth this, but he's bringing it over to outside the movie and trying to actually act like it's an actual worth something, and it's probably got Cadbury yolk in it or something like.
So
it's probably a big old Easter egg.
So I know everybody's like this is very discombobulating, this whole storyline, but let's not forget they had freaking zombies during the Miz Damian Priest match from Army of the Dead.
Oh yeah, they sure did.
That was so. Oh God. Oh
yeah. This was wild about these little promotions and time. They're doing the same thing that they would otherwise do in the ring if they brought back Batista in The Rock. They would let them get over all their existing talent that they have, and then when The Rock and Batista leave to make their movies, they wonder why they don't have any current stars that people actually like and want to root for. But it's partly because you're still hung up on your talent from 15, 20, 30 years ago in some cases. It's ridiculous, man. WWE does not know what they're doing right now.
So here's a big tidbit that most people kind of overlook. Like, everybody focuses on the ratings because that's like a big thing. Like, hey, AEW still ain't beating Raw in the ratings. But here's the thing. WWE or sports entertainment is getting the ratings so far. But pro wrestling, AEW, is outselling WWE at live events.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
really?
there's one coming up this Wednesday.
Yeah.
At the
they're selling out more.
Wintrust Arena.
Yeah. There's an arena. It's in Uniondale, New York. I can't remember the arena.
It's the new arena that the Islanders, the hockey team is playing in.
So I don't know if it's
Island.
WWE first gonna be there, then AEW, but if it's one or the other. But AEW has outsold them by like 3,000 to 4,000 tickets.
Yeah.
Same arena, same setup.
They both got the same number of tickets available, right?
I believe they do, but actually this Raw, if you guys watch it, pay attention to the upper deck. They're not going to get a shot because they had to take people from the balcony and move them closer to the ring because it wasn't a sellout. It would have been
somebody there will take a picture too, and you'll see that like half the arena probably is empty this show tonight. And you would not have had that 20 years ago.
Like, I've had people ask me, guys that I've worked with, DJs and stuff like that have thrown wrestling parties and everything, and they're like, "Man, you do a lot of wrestling, and man, we should do a wrestling party, a WrestleMania." I'm like, hell no. Anything WWE, no. Do not do it. No. No. Wow. And they're like, no, but it's like, they're very popular. I'm like, it sucks. I watch it every week. I watch all 5 hours, and you know what? All 5 hours suck. Like, if I didn't have the House of Wrestling brand and I didn't have to cover this, I would definitely watch something else. And Kyle knows this because I've texted him this. While I've covered Raw, I've watched Dark Elevation and Ring of Honor just to get me through 3 hours because it's that bad. It's...
Well, Dedrian, let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't mind, Kyle, let me ask you this. So I think we all kind of come to the consensus that Vince really doesn't know what he's doing, right? You say Bruce Pritchard is basically Smithers. So when it comes down to it, who do you think inside the company can save the company, or do you think it has to be somebody from the outside that comes in?
I don't think anybody's gonna be put in that position, but go ahead.
You know what?
Dedrian.
It's, if this was, let's say, before 1999. And they weren't a publicly traded company, you would have an 80% chance that there could be a turnover. But because they're 20 years deep as far as being a publicly traded company, there's so many detailed, intricate parts that puts the product that we see on TV. You got stockholders, you got shareholders and stuff like that. Vince does have the remaining control and everything. It's not necessarily the shareholders that are like, hey, we need more TV or anything like that. But ever since they brought on Nick Khan, he's done great stuff outside, but he's not a wrestling guy. You look at everything that's been brought on, they're making money. But here's the thing about them making so much money is that, they're getting all this money from the TV deals, and actually they're getting I can't curse on here, but they're getting a lot of money.
You could curse.
They're getting a shit ton of money from those Saudi pay-per-views. They're getting at least 50 million. 50 million.
Each?
Yes, each event, 50 million.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of people were upset because after that event,
them Saudis roll up. They back up a money truck so they could see Goldberg
Man.
and the Undertaker, wrestle for like 6 minutes.
But to answer your question, Maz, it's weird because ever since they brought back John Laurinaitis, Pritchard, they brought on Nick Khan, Triple H. He had whatever issue he had with his heart ailment, and they pretty much. I don't know what the hell NXT 2.0 is. But see,
and that's the thing I was going to say right
sucks.
quick, Dedrian. If you talk about who could have saved the company or taken it from Vince's, the obvious answer would have been Triple H up until maybe a year and a half ago. And when NXT lost that Wednesday night battle to AEW, that was it. And NXT changed over. Now it's like some bubblegum show now. It used to be the best.
It's wrestling on Nickelodeon.
For a few years, NXT was the best wrestling show in existence. It was. And Vince was like, no, you couldn't beat AEW in the ratings war, so I'm taking it over. And I want a specific type of wrestler and athlete to push now in developmental. I'm getting rid of all the independent talents who learned to wrestle from other places. They didn't learn the WWE style, so we got no use for them now. I'm getting rid of them, and those are the people who AEW are picking up now. And they're making great shows and doing great TV with those guys, while WWE is changing Rick Steiner's son's name and still, he's still gonna be a star. Actually, he's great, but outside of him and a couple others,
they got a son that's wrestling. Wow.
Yeah. And they stupid. They using his name as Brian Breaker. They're not even going. They're not even using his real name. No,
I thought it was Brian Breaker.
They don't have sense enough to let Rick Steiner's son be Rick Steiner's son. They
can call him Little Papa Pump.
They can't because Scott Steiner ripped the company, so that's a whole nother thing. But to answer your question, Kyle, or to piggyback off what you said, so the issue with like Triple H taking over, and this is what that's the problem with WWE. They have too many detailed compartments that are having so much answers and everything. Like they're giving too many people power, and that's why the product looks so discombobulated. So with Triple H, he pretty much piggybacked off of what Dusty Rhodes built, because Dusty Rhodes was the one that built majority of that top talent in NXT. And then the issue that they did
he was influenced by the way that Dusty booked in back in the day too in the NWA.
So it was more Dusty and William Regal that built most of those people, and then with the independent guys coming in, once AEW, actually it was before AEW, because New Japan Pro Wrestling, they announced the New Japan Pro America like right around AEW launching, and that's where they kind of hold off on like, okay, what's this AEW? So it goes back to 2018 when AEW is launching. Oh crap, let's sign everybody that's available under our roster, and you got a roster of 300 wrestlers. You got 5 hours of TV, and you only lose, you use what, 15-20% of your roster, and it's like, what the hell you sign all these people for if you ain't gonna put them on TV? So they're kind of getting they reaping what they sow and everything. But then on the other end, with the Triple H thing, is one thing about Vince is if it ain't his creation, this is where it gets to the Mr. Burns thing. If it ain't his creation, he's gonna destroy it. So who is getting more recognition, NXT or SmackDown and Raw? NXT. So the moment he had an opportunity, a legit reason, like he literally had a legit reason to take over NXT and everything, because if AEW didn't go on Wednesday nights, there was no comparison, metric like AEW is better than NXT. The moment AEW just started molly-whopping NXT, it's like, okay, Triple H, yeah, you had your fun, yeah, we're family, yeah. But behind the scenes, Vince is like, hell no, you're not going to be better than me. I built this damn company. You ain't surpassing me. That's his ego. Vince, historically, you guys know this, Vince McMahon has been like that. He stripped mine NXT, and you think about it. You look at NXT, there is not one semblance or remembrance, memory of Triple H there. Nothing.
That's right.
He strip-minded. So everything you see on Raw, SmackDown, And NXT, Vince McMahon. And that's the scary thing about WWE is that you have a Vince McMahon, and I shared this on Jonathan Hood's Tuesday Wrestling Tuesday podcast, the day of the releases, is that we always been watching WWE since the 80s, mid-80s, stuff like that. And if you look at the decisions that WWE has made in the last 3 to 5 years, a younger Vince McMahon would have never made them damn decisions. Never. Like, how the hell you get rid of Keith Lee? That's money. Think about it. Vince McMahon took his time and kept Ahmed Johnson for at least 2 years before he's like, okay, I got to get rid of him. But he tried to do something with him for 2 years. You had Hit Row. You bring him up, not even a week. Whoop. What? What? How does that make sense? And that's the scary thing about WWE, that, yeah, they have a lot of money. And again, like any corporation, yeah, they have a lot of money. But if you're not being innovative, that money can go away quickly because people can turn to another product, and that profit margin can drop quickly.
And right quick, we all brothers here. If you got a, if you have a mind of look, me, D, and Joe were all in the same room when Kofi Kingston won his championship,
yes.
and we were all 10 years old again when that happened. It was a beautiful moment, and it's probably
I recorded
the
it, and I still have it.
It's probably the greatest moment in regards to black wrestling ever. Like, we diversity in wrestling and pushing other voices and other heroes and stuff. WWE had reached a point where it was actually looking like it was making an advancement, and even today you have a person like Big E who has the championship, and everybody loves Big E,
Bobby Lashley.
especially Bobby Lashley too, But when you look at something like Hit Row, which was a really embarrassing level of mismanagement with a different type of group that could have added something different to WWE programming. And now you look at, a few months ago, people started about AEW and looking like, look, y'all ain't got no brothers on your main event on your shows. You ain't really got no brothers that you pushing. Now they getting some brothers now. They got the Jay Lethal put on a Dynamite show on Dynamite last week.
Jonathan Gresham.
Go ahead.
So they're.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm leading to. Like, AEW in a minute is going to be. They not only going to have the overall quality advantage, they going to have a more diverse. They've always pushed a more diverse and more inclusive incorporation
variety
of talent. When you look at, they've had trans people, they've had gay people, they've had all types of people on since the beginning. Now they're tending to, again, that one little blind spot that they had, and that was mainly because Vince had wrapped up so much talent in other areas. But now, because they're letting these talents go, they can you can have, again, like you said, Jonathan Gresham there in a minute. You already have Jay Lethal. You can have Keith Lee there in a minute. It's crazy that AEW potentially can have in this battle. And the one thing that I'm gonna leave it at this, the one thing that WWE has, name recognition. And one thing I'm a cite to that, right? Jones. We all know probably, problematic ways, but probably the greatest mixed martial artist. Yeah, probably the greatest mixed martial artist of his time. He's actually in talks to fight Jake Hager, who is currently. But when he announced it, he first said that he was Hager of WWE, and that was his old character from like 10 years ago.
Interesting.
But the people think by default of wrestling, they still of WWE. People who aren't involved in it as much as me and Dedrian and D.
Yeah, so like with the
give it a few years.
So one thing that oh yeah, actually not even years. Wait till January, because there's a whole lot of top African American talent, like top tier talent that are going to be free after the 90 days and AEW. Come on. Daniel Bryan versus Jonathan Gresham. Oh, Keith Lee versus, CM Punk or something. Oh, okay, come on. Shane Strickland. Oh, come on.
Mm-hmm.
My guy Phil Lindsay from Graspity and Bleacher Report, he brought up a very good point about black wrestlers, and for instance, Hit Row. It's a hip hop group. Well, we don't know how to manage that and everything. So it's ironic that they don't know how to manage 4 black people, 1 woman, 3 guys in a hip hop group, but yet John Cena for
20
10
years,
his gimmick started a white guy started in a hip hop gimmick, but he could do it for 15 years. You knew how to do hip hop and all that other stuff and market him, but 4 black people that had a hip hop gimmick
became a whole album. He had a whole album.
Sure did.
But and here's the thing. Here's the thing. Shane Strickland, aka Isaiah Swerve Scott, he does produce music.
He does.
He does. So
I like his podcast.
Oh,
so that's where
you mentioned another guy too. We should mention Leo Rush, who because you mentioned I just thought of him because you mentioned making music. Yeah, he's on AEW.
So with the whole because I've been really looking into the whole black wrestling scene and everything. You guys remember during Black History Month, I was posting all these black wrestlers that most people are like, man, I didn't even know about this. Like, hey, know your history. But with WWE, and I've always mentioned this to a lot of my family that are African Americans, I'm like, just because they have a lot of black wrestlers don't mean they're using them. Be careful, because it's shucking and jiving. Hey, look. I'll put it this way. The way WWE uses black wrestlers is equivalent to, hey, I have a black friend. Look, my black friend. Look, my black friend. Look, he's here. Look, he's here. It's like, come on, man. Kofi Kingston.
That's why the New Day were different, because the crazy thing about New Day is that when they first put them together, they was like, oh, they're gonna be black preachers. So it was Vince trying to do some stereotypical stuff again, but then they let them be themselves, and that's where the audience really got with them.
So here, I'm gonna give you 2 tidbits.
The evolution was there.
So I'm gonna give you guys 2 tidbits regarding the New Day. So one, I don't know if you guys seen the interview that Xavier Woods did, I think a couple of days ago. I posted on the House of Wrestling Facebook page. So they asked him, hey, what would happen if WWE released you? He's like, all right, deuces. So the other thing is, if you remember back in 2018, their contracts were coming up and the WWE offered them double, triple what they were making. You know why? Because Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, and Big E are very, very, very good friends with the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, and Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
And they did not want to lose that top act on the upstart AEW, where they're going to have creative freedom as black guys. And they're going to have a full canvas. Be yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that we forget about AEW, like Tony Khan. Most of these pro wrestling promotions are run by white guys. Tony Khan ain't white. He may be mixed, but he's more Arabic, Muslim. So he's one of us. He's one of us. He's
a person of color.
Us in a sense. So that's why if you watch AEW's product,
that's important.
He's around our age, and that's why if you watch AEW's product, granted they may not have the the number of representation that we would like, but if you watch it, there's a sense where it relates to you. As far as WWE is just man, it's just I feel like I'm watching a simulated video game.
Right, and with Tony Khan, you know that AEW has the ability to grow and to expand and elevate for to lack of a better term. With Vince, you're talking about again an old man who is stuck in his ways, if he finds any sort of opposition to himself, he's going to go back to his old ways, and his old ways are already messed up. So he he doesn't have any type of flexibility available to him where he knows how to market his work and his wrestling to a 2021 audience and going forward. Yep. He has no tools in the toolbox for that.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think the last time I went to a WWE event, I think Joe and I was together. I think so. We went to go see NXT. Yeah. We saw
2019.
Was that
I was with you. Was that Survivor Series?
Yeah. You was with us too, because what are you?
Yeah. But I was with y'all. That wasn't Survivor Series. It was
like had Glorious.
Yeah, we had
people singing Glorious.
Yeah. No, what's the
Velveteen Dream?
Velveteen Dream.
Yeah.
We saw his first match.
It was early Velveteen Dream.
Yeah, it was like, man, who is this cat that looks like Prince out here? Like, what is this? But I mean, whatever issues he went through. I know he's.
That's sad. That's sad. And you talk about people who could have changed the game. He could have been one of those guys, but he got issues. He had issues. Okay. He was a great performer too. Yeah.
He was.
So here's the funny joke about, they call it NXT 1.0, is that basically NXT 1.0 was the, how do I put it, the minor leagues for AEW, because all the heavyweights, all the ex-champions are on AEW. Andrade, Malachi Black, Adam Cole, all of them are over there. So it was like, damn, NXT practically was a building block for.
Happen.
And they made
Vince let that happen. They were building these guys up for SmackDown and Raw, and they put them on these shows, and then Vince cut all of them off at the knees. So it's like, what else would they do?
I kind of look at this though as kind of a blessing, at least for the fans. And I know Dedrian, when you and Kyle and I, we texting, you know what I'm saying? I know you all pumping up everybody going to AEW, which is cool and seeing what's happening. But at the same time, too, you get a lot of this talent going to multiple promotions. You got Impact, you got Ring of Honor. Well, I don't know.
That should be noted.
That's at least that's what's happening. Is because quite honestly, Desmond, you already brought this up. You said like this was going to happen because it was going out there gobbling up so much talent that eventually this was going to have to cut the fat. It was like, okay, let me just grab up all this talent. I have nothing to do with them, and then eventually one day it's like I got them, let them back out. And now they're being released into the wild, but a more flourished, nurtured, healthy environment, going back into the wrestling community, wrestling industry. So,
and you got more entity, you got more corporate entities who are willing to invest in wrestling again. Like around the time when when WCW failed, you had Time Warner who was like, wrestling isn't nothing to spend money in. So that eliminated that one major.
They know what they doing now. They know what they doing.
Yeah, it took another 20 years, but Turner got back into the game because of Tony Khan and all this, and now people are seeing, look, there is money to be had here in wrestling again.
Wait a minute, Joe. Did you know the NWA was back? Did you know the NWA was back, Joe?
NWA, you mean NWA?
Yeah.
Oh
no.
NWA
wrestling.
No,
NWA wrestling.
NWA
with the Freebirds
and
sort of. It's sort of in. I mean, it's in the.
And the
it's the same name, right? Hold on, wait a minute. So when Ric Flair did his promo, and it was down in St. Louis, he did bring up all those names. So I know you talked about wrestling down in St. Louis, and I think Billy Corgan. runs them, right?
Billy Corgan, William Corgan.
So the issue now going into 2022. So the issue now going into 2022. And Kyle, you always bring up about my predictions, and damn WWE releases screwed up my damn predictions. I gotta revise that like a 6th time already.
You gonna have them ready for the new year?
I got 10, but I wanted to do 30, but I got 10, and I'm like, damn, I can't do 30. I'm gonna have to figure this out. But so the issue with going into 2022 is the whole issue with Ring of Honor being on hiatus, which is pretty much their video library is pretty much out there. A lot of people are saying that Tony Khan's going to buy it. So they're pretty much saying Tony Khan's going to buy it because eventually by the end of 2022, going to 2023, AEW is going to be on a streaming service. of some capacity, and they're going to have a video library. And most of the wrestlers that they have on their roster, and the wrestlers on Impact, MLW, and NWA have been in Ring of Honor. So if you're already working with them and you buy that library, you got to now you have a library that's competitive with Vince McMahon. Because let's face it, everything on the WWE Network, we didn't see it already. Like, it's been 5 years. We didn't rewatch Survivor Series. How many people, you rewatch stuff on the network multiple times? It's like, and they're not producing anything, new innovative content. It's like,
that's one of their that's one of their selling points too, is nostalgia. It's so this is the place where you could forever see The Rock and Stone Cold and Hulk Hogan and all of them. Yeah.
All right, I've seen that already. But yeah, going into 2022,
everybody don't watch as much as you, Dedrian.
Not me, but the whole network. I mean, people are just like, I'm tired of. Like, a lot of people have canceled the network because they're like, I've already seen everything. Like, it's no use paying for it.
Speaking of the network, though, speaking of the company as a whole, and I know we brought this up a little bit earlier, but I'm looking at their stock. I trade stock, I'm always in that. So a month ago, WWE was trading at $62.08. Right now, as today, $51.20. So I'm sure Vince is looking at the numbers. I'm sure Vince is looking at the stock. It's dropping. It's dropped $10 in a month. Now, you don't want to drop $10 at all. Obviously, you always want to go up. But you drop $10 in a month. I don't know if that's why we're starting to see Vince more on screen, or he's trying to do more. Because I think they just did I know they got another big deal, I think, coming with Peacock or something else with Peacock, whatever like that. You see, they're doing what's up for Red Notice. That's a good check from Netflix. They did the thing with the zombie movie. That's another thing with Netflix. They get next. Yeah,
that's all Nick Khan.
That's all right. Yeah.
I still love the idea of a Netflix movie getting all this pub on Peacock, though. That's just funny.
I know that's
funny to be like.
But you know what? It's a good movie. It's a fun, entertaining movie. If you see it, it's fun. So here's the thing about the AEW, the Tony Khan streaming service, is that if you remember, I think back in the day, like, I know J.R. Bang brought it up and everything. We pretty much within our circle, they brought up, like, man, it'd be cool if WWE had a streaming, the network. They're like, oh man, bring on other wrestling companies, to stream on there. AEW, because they network with Impact, all these independent promotions, that's something that they might do, because since they're networking, they're gonna have all of them stream.
And before you jump in all that, Impact does have its own streaming thing, and so does Ring of Honor. And you have to have some sort of business dealings worked in there. Oh, yeah. It's not like it's up for grabs for them. But definitely the chance of AEW being streamed, and because AEW was in that whole Time Warner family, a lot of people say they may be available on HBO Max, which would be pretty big. HBO Max even dope already. It may make it even dope.
That, Kyle, I would say I know Andrew Zarian from Mattman Podcast talks about it a lot. He's like, that's pretty much like not if, but when. It's not if, but when. Only thing AEW is doing is building, letting it, so many years so they have enough content, in their video library, and then they can produce. But that's why they want to work with, as far as their own streaming services, like, hey, like an MLW, like, hey, some of our guys go on your thing. You know what? Why don't you jump on here where we all benefit from a streaming service? They'll
definitely be more willing to work with them than Vince would be. Yeah, they'll offer better rates probably or something like that.
Yeah, and if you think about it, that's how it should be. If you think about it, if you look at, let's say AEW does create their TV network, it's no different than if you had NBC and you have all these different great actors on these different shows. Why not have them, on one network where, hey, I see this person on this show and then they're on this show. Oh, they're on the same network. Oh, okay, let me, just tune in and everything. And that's actually good competition for the WWE network, because it's like, do I want to watch the same old stuff that I've been watching for this, or do I want to watch all these up and coming newcomers that are, out in the wrestling field? And the other thing with WWE that they kind of book themselves in the corners, the whole issue with NXT. They don't want nobody under over 30.
But I actually think that's kind of smart though at this point because they really don't have much of an option. It's because of what they've done. They don't really have much options. They need to build their own talent base that is under their control.
But what they're also doing is they don't want anyone under 30 and they don't want independent wrestlers. So now you're getting people that don't wrestle, but it's like, and the other thing that they want is that they're giving them like a 6 month. They're giving them a 6 month trial period. So if it doesn't work out in 6 months, they're out. Like, what the fuck are you people like?
But
are you alive?
That's the other side of it. It's like you need a few years to build these people up and make them into
look at what they did with look at what they did with Batista, Lesnar, Orton, and Cena. It easily took them 2 years for them to come out and then boom.
But wasn't it still WWF, not WWE? I mean, it's not a wrestling. It's not technically a wrestling company like that no more. It's an entertainment company.
But that's just it was the same company.
I know, but I'm saying, but they looking at
they did things differently.
Yeah. Now I think it's now because it's 20 years being a publicly traded company, and the unfortunate thing is, I'm going to use this quote that KRS once said.
We go wrap up soon. So
So I'm gonna use this quote. He said, and this was regarding rap, and I'm gonna use it in the context of wrestling. You cannot produce authentic rap and be rich. You cannot produce authentic wrestling and be rich. Meaning, you can't be a worldwide You can't be you can't be a worldwide. Look, Vince McMahon has achieved everything. What else does he? You got all the money, you got all the fame, you got all the naming rights. You got your equivalent to Coke and stuff like that as far as brand recognition. What else do you? What initiative and fire do you have to put out a compelling product like you did in the '80s when you bought it?
Take over. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's why you see with AEW, don't nobody know a lot about AEW. That's what keeps them going. That's what keeps them being creative, and that's where I like to use that quote. It's like, realistic. You can't if you want to produce authenticity and just creativity, you can't have all this, be rich in every aspect and
I think it's more about trying to be everything to everyone. Like, you talk about being rich. Like, I think, the guy you mentioned, Jim Cornette would probably argue with that. He's seen a lot of people get rich off of wrestling. Like, but and Vince got rich off of wrestling. And it also helps that it's probably more so today where, like, if you want to be in the wrestling and do it right, you may need to be rich before you get into it.
Well, it's not in the context.
The guys got rich, they got in the wrestling.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It's not in the context like rich as far as making money. It's achieving everything that you need to be successful. Like, you already maxed out. Like, you're maxed out on everything that you need to be successful. It's like you're on the mountaintop. You went to another mountaintop. Oh, I don't need to do anything. Like the journey. Like I don't need a journey to get there. I'm already there. Like, what do I need? This. And it's like, you don't want to do that because there's, it's a long way coming down. So I don't know. Well, WWE, that's their thing.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. They doing their thing and they don't really care who. I don't even think they really care what AEW is doing. If they cared more, they wouldn't be giving them so much access to as much talent as they've been giving them.
That's what Jim Cornette said. He's like, do you realize the talent you're releasing? Like, and Tony Khan is going to sign the best of that talent. Like, he's stacking a roster for the next 10, 15 years. Like, what are you doing? But, that's the difference between sports entertainment and pro wrestling.
And there's a difference, and it's being proven more and more each day. That's like, I think at one point when it was just WWE, you could be like, 6.5 or a dozen, I forget that phrase, but you could make an argument that it's interchangeable, that the phrase is interchangeable because it was all WWE. But now we're seeing what their real difference is between pro wrestling and sports entertainment, And you know, I prefer pro wrestling, and I think more and more people are proving that they prefer pro wrestling. So we gonna end it at that. You know, Dedrian, appreciate what you bring to the wrestling conversation.
I'm disappointed because I have to still cover Raw, and Seth Rollins is out, and this. Damn it,
you know,
man!
I'm mad that the Bulls are down 19, so I may have to watch more of Raw than I planned on doing tonight.
No. Watch the damn Bulls game. Look, their comeback is going to be more entertaining.
I'm just joking.
Oh man, but thank you, man.
There's enough to watch. But yeah, well, we pretty right quick. I wanted to throw out a couple more things. Actually, I know we didn't get into this really, but you know the whole LeBron James thing with this kid in Detroit. There was more blood on that in that than there was in all the Survivor Series. Like, you know, it was wild.
Way more color.
Yeah, color. Yeah, that's good reference. Good reference.
Yes.
But this afternoon that LeBron is getting 1 game suspension for that, and Stewart, Isaiah Stewart is getting 2 game suspension. I think it's fine. You know, just move on. You know, everybody went in on it all day with the takes and stuff, but you know, Brian wasn't right for what he did. I think that kid was he was acting like he was gone off some stuff, man. But you know, just for bleeding, I understand it was a dirty shot, and you don't want to be disrespectful.
Just for bleeding.
That boy was tripping.
Half your face. Hey man, half his face was like Dusty Rhodes back in 1983.
When he started, the blood wasn't so much blood when it started. He got riled up, and the blood kept going, pumping because he was like he was going off half a perk. He was running around that court though.
That was like
you know, calm down, boy. You ain't about to fight nobody. You ain't about to fight nobody, man. Chill out,
man.
Put a towel on your face and go, man.
That's just a sign of how dysfunctional that Los Angeles Lakers team is. Whatever you are, you will track.
They wound up winning that game. It might be a rallying point for them because they wound up winning that game. It was the Pistons, but you know, I don't know.
Everybody gets in a fight with the Pistons.
But that was like old school Pistons thing. I think, you know, of course you got the Bad Boys and the Malice and the Palace, and you know, it seems like every 20 years something pops up with the Pistons, I guess. But yeah, but it's that, and I wanted to shout out the Red Stars for you know, actually was a pretty good game. I watched that championship game they had on Saturday. They lost to DC, but it came out today that their coach resigned and that he might have been abusing some folks. And this is like a big rash of thing. I might have to get somebody on to talk about this in this women's soccer. Like it's too many male coaches in that sport, and that these guys get off on abusing women and from their positions of power. So they may need to. They're in the process of cleaning that up. But the coach just took the Red Star. Sarah Spain, she is the part owner. She is a part owner, yeah. Mm-hmm. But they just got the championship game. They did they repped the city well, but they got to get rid of their coach today. So it's kind of disappointing on that side.
Dennis Rodman's daughter.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that too. I'm glad you brought that up. Dennis Rodman's daughter was on that Washington Spirit team, and she had the assist for the goal. That so like she's gonna be like a star in that sport, and it goes to show you again how this class of junior and you know, just this class of elite athlete kids is continuing to take over. Like, you know, we get more and more of these kids who were born from elite athletes who are doing elite things themselves. So, hey, more power to them. But we gonna wrap it up on that, man. Guys, I appreciate you sitting in and talking and chopping it up with me. Another nice Monday Night Means. And I put the Turkey Week label on it, you know, so everybody enjoy the holiday week. You know, I'm not gonna be doing much more this week myself. Don't be a jive turkey out there, and just enjoy your family and your friends, and have fun doing what you can. Like I said, hope you Hope you're not too invested in the Bears doing much on Thanksgiving. And hopefully the Bulls can turn around on Indiana here tonight. But if not, they're still doing pretty good. But and those male soccer coaches need to get their minds right, man. Quit acting like you're in your rocks off just because you boss females around, man. That's not how we do things in 2021 and the 2022 either. So we go around for this week's show. Monday Night Means. Keep with WARR Media on all our platforms. And like I say, show us love and we'll show it right back. Appreciate everybody who watched, listened. Those are guys. D Badman Tanksley on Twitter, so you can follow Joe. D, where they can follow you?
At Demonze 1, DEMONZE #1.
And Dedrian, of course, you got your own name, and you also got the House of Rasslin.
Yeah, follow the
House of Wrestling.
For those wrestling fans, follow the House of Wrestling. Kyle, Demonze, thank you guys for following. You guys know how much content is out there as far as wrestling and just information and stuff like that. You can follow us at House of Rasslin. That's RASSLIN. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's fun. I'm just having fun with this and just sharing it with you guys and everything. So, just come on and join us. Have fun.
Definitely. Same here. Yeah, again, enjoy your week, everybody. Enjoy the day. I'll be back next Monday with more of the same, doing it real big. Monday Night Means. We out.
Peace.